one thing I didn't bring up last week, or probably happened after the podcast, was Jon Gruden. Our favorite Bama is back at it again. Like he's suing the NFL and Commissioner Roger Goodell over the release of the emails, you know, that he had racist, misogynistic, and anti-LGBTQIA language. And the suit filed in Klown, Nevada, accused the league and commissioner of a, quote, get a load of this, malicious and orchestrated campaign in which they sought to destroy the career and reputation of Gruden. And here's this quote. There's another quote. I got another quote for you right quick. If you think that was crazy. This is a statement released by his attorney, Adam Hosmer-Henner. The complaint, quote, I'm quoting, alleges that the defendant selectively leaked Gruden's private correspondence to the Wall Street Journal and New York Times in order to harm Gruden's reputation and force him out of his job. Now, I'm gonna stop in the middle of that statement to say this.
Please.
At first, when I heard about Jon Gruden suing the league, I figured, you know what? I kind of saw this coming. He's trying to get his money, trying to recoup his money, trying to save as bit of his name that he can, his reputation as much as he can. And I was like, it's a money grab. The NFL is going to have him for lunch and let it be the end of it. But we've watched Law and Order long enough to know that sometimes, and what may seem frivolous, may be kind of legit in terms of having the case. Let me read the second half of the statement. Quote, there is no explanation or justification for why Gruden's emails were the only ones made public out of the 650,000 emails collected in the NFL's investigation of the Washington football team, or for why the emails were held for months before being released in the middle of the Raiders season. End of quote. Remember what we were saying, and others in the sports world, media, fans, whatever, the media, is saying, okay, you got these emails from Jon Gruden. What about the others? What about the ones, what about Bruce Allen's response? I'm sure he responded to them. What about the league counsel? I can't think of his name right now. What he's responding, he's been going back and forth. How did he respond to it? I mean, well, I know how he responded to it when he said about, I'm trying to remember here off the top of my head, when they had like they're trying to cater to women, the NFL. Like, why'd you have something? Oh no, as far as the he said something special about that too. But when he talked about the Rooney Rule, why don't they have some type of rule that helps Republican white men? That's the league counsel saying that shit. That's the league counsel, the head lawyer in charge. That's kind of like the naggers to the AG of the United States of America. That came out of his mouth onto a keyboard into an email message. And so you wonder why the league, i.e. the owners, are very nervous about having a lot of this shit come out. Again, out of 650,000 emails, you're going to zero in what Gruden said as if he was the only one. Again, he sent the two other cats for a reason, because he felt comfortable saying those things to those guys. And you're going to focus on just him? You can imagine what was said also during the time, this goes back 8-9 years, right? So you can imagine during that time, remember what else took place 8-9 years ago during that time frame? Much shorter in 2016, Colin Kaepernick took a knee.
Colin Kaepernick took a knee, yep.
So again, and we know that Gruden called him a loser. So to at least Bruce Allen and a few others, where are their emails on that? Where are they? You can't. Scott, we're not idiots. And on Fox Sports Radio, there's a show, I think it's in the morning, with LeVar Arrington Brady Quinn called Two Pros and a Joe and another dude.
Okay.
And that cover that same thing. And Brady Quinn's like, he I think he leans towards the right as far as political ideology, but he was like, do the NFL think that does the NFL think that we're stupid? Do us to believe that he and LeVar Arrington both said this, that Gruden was the only one guilty of this the last 8 to 9 to 10 years?
Oh, of course not. Of course not. We all know that, right?
Come on.
I've been saying this for some time now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what situation you're talking about when it comes to correspondence between two people within a sporting league, but primarily so the ones that have been brought up the most in recent years have been the NFL as it pertains to Tom Brady's text.
Yes.
And then now, of course, the emails for Jon Gruden.
Right.
And then when people talked about, phones being destroyed and emails not being released, and people wondered why that was the case. I kept telling people,
and Spygate tapes destroyed too.
And the tapes destroyed, right? I kept telling people, and of course it was more of a vanilla response. But now if we want to go with some flavor here, the vanilla response was they didn't want the rest of their stuff exposed, which could have been anything. And at the time, my original thought process with Tom Brady, at least, was, okay, maybe a dick pic, maybe a nude from Giselle, whatever, right? It could have been any type of correspondence that he probably didn't want revealed. The same thing I said about the Washington football team and their emails. Dude, I stepped it up a little bit and did add a little bit of flavor on that one. There was no way in the world they were going to release the rest of those emails if it was going to make people who are currently in positions of power accountable, well, not accountable, but guilty of comments that they made, or disparaging comments that they made about whoever. It didn't matter. And then when, of course, Captain NFL, aka Roger Goodell, comes out with the shield and does his best to protect the league, and it's working, right? Everybody wants to see these emails, but I can name to you right now 32 Bamas that do not want those emails released.
Yes.
And I'm going to go ahead and say that all 32 are currently NFL owners. Now, not just for the sole purpose of what's going on in terms of the sexual harassment and all of the racial epithets potentially thrown around between front office guys and head coaches and so on and so forth. But also got to remember, and I didn't even think about this until watching. I'm gonna go ahead and shout this show out. I normally don't because they don't pay us to, but God, what is that? Again, off the record again, or something like that with Bob Costas that comes on HBO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, also off the record, whatever. It's something to that effect. But, of course, his first show was originally off the record. Went off the air for some time, and he came back, and then they repackaged it. Cool. But he interviewed Jerry Jones. And I completely forgot about this case, but I can tell you a group of people who haven't. The people of St. Louis. And the lawsuit that they're currently dealing with as it pertains to the misinformation and the misdirection that came about when the Rams moved from St. Louis to Los Angeles. And the thing is, if you start exposing emails and then stuff like that starts to come out, then the NFL comes out as looking criminal again. In that case, there's no way in the world the league is going to release this information if it's going to do nothing but hurt the league.
Now, and what if the government steps in? There's been rumors about.
And then if the government steps in,
about to take away the antitrust, threatening to take that away if they don't expose these emails. This ain't over.
No, it's not over.
This ain't over.
You know what? I'm going to wait and see who's going to be powerful enough to step in and make sure that it's not over, or if there eventually has to become another sacrificial lamb, and people are already looking towards Daniel Snyder as said sacrificial lamb, right? But my thing is this: even if they get rid of Daniel Snyder, which this fan base here would
y'all be doing praise dances in the street, man. On U Street,
God.
Fairfax County Parkway, whatever it is.
My
Y'all be
dude.
on 95, 395. Y'all be just praise dancing, rain dancing,
Man, it would
everything.
look like a revival from just south of Baltimore all the way to the Carolinas, where there's still a tons of Washington football fans there too.
Right.
If that happens.
Right.
But my thing is this, you know, even if he does become the sacrificial lamb, and I know there's a lot of people that don't like this dude, dude, he's still not the only guilty person in this situation, and it still doesn't necessarily resolve the situation. Right. Now, there are a lot of people who try to compare what's going on with Daniel Snyder with what's going on, with what went on with Donald Sterling, the LA Clippers, and the NBA. The difference is, as far as we know, the NFL owners aren't as blatantly racist as Donald Sterling has been shown to be on multiple occasions.
Yes.
And then, of course, they bring up the fact, of course, how the entire franchise has now revived itself and has become a crown jewel of the NBA ever since the removal of Donald Sterling. And there's a possibility that can potentially happen with the football team.
Right.
But I still say, you know, and then that's the other thing too, the comments that Donald Sterling made was made to a freak that he just happened to be hanging out with.
Right. But people, it's one thing to be told about, it's another to hear it from his mouth.
Yes, right. And we heard it from his mouth because he recorded it, right? And felt as though he was being out of pocket with it and did so. But the thing was, that was between him and her.
Yeah.
So it only exposes him, which makes it easier to get him out of there. The same way with Jerry Richardson. You know, it was just him groping chicks in his office.
Yep, and saying, you know, disparaging things. Yep.
Yeah. You know, had that been both him, Jerry Jones, and what's your boy over there in New England, the owner?
Rob Kraft, Mr. Kraft.
And Robert Kraft, and had been the three of them groping chicks in Charlotte, then it would have been a problem.
Yeah.
But since it was him, it was the easy scapegoat. We can go ahead and sever that situation. Be gone with
it. He didn't even try to fight it. That's how bad it was.
He didn't try to fight it.
He didn't try to fight it. That's how bad it was.
But with Danny, in a situation where he doesn't want to let go, and there are other people who are potentially involved, he's like, yo, if I go down, we all he's straight he straight what's your boy's name in Juice? Bishop. Matter of fact, they said it in New Jack City too. Basically, you know, he basically said, you know, God, if I go down, we go down too, because we crew. Yeah, we all going down. If I go down, yeah, I'm telling. Oh yeah, matter of fact, yeah, that's what Nino Brown said during the trial. I'm telling on everybody. This thing is bigger than me.
Yeah,
and this thing bigger than Nino Brown.
Yeah,
because so and so said the same thing. So and so said the same thing. We colluded to make sure that the LA Rams the Rams were capable of moving to LA because we knew that they were a bigger money market, even though the city of St. Louis was still willing to build a new stadium for the Rams there. But we said, fuck it, we want to go ahead and move them to LA anyway. There's no way to where all of this stuff is going to be like a house of cards if they go after if owner falls.
Yeah.
But yeah, they can take out a coach. And yeah, you know what? Maybe Coach Gruden has a point. Yeah. But at the same time, so what? Whatever you ask for, the league will probably promptly pay that off so they can continue to stay in power, dude.
Right.
Let's be real.
Yeah. But it'd be interesting if the rumors are true that some cats from Congress, Capitol Hill, whatever, are looking to step in and say, hey, what about those emails? Again, it's like you said, it's going to take someone very powerful.
It's going to take somebody powerful to do it.
Yeah. You don't know who that person is yet, but it's going to take someone very powerful from Capitol Hill to say, what's up with those emails?
Yeah.
If you know that antitrust thingy, I forgot what you call it. I'm not smart enough to understand that, but that legalese. But if y'all still want that, I think it's some type of exemption. If you guys still want that, what's up with those emails?
Yeah.
It's going to. If it's possible, the possibility that it could happen, let you know that the NFL may be sweating a little bit, more than a little bit. So this remains to be seen, but this whole thing is not over, and it's just getting started. And again, because we know, Jon Gruden probably knows. Again, to what you said about what you said about Danny Boy Snyder, he's probably like, yo, you take me down, I got a Rolodex of motherfuckers who I emailed this shit to. That paper trail, I got receipts too now. So it's going to be very, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting to see what's going forward, but we'll see what happens. And, you know, if it means a new owner in Washington, D.C., where you guys get the praise dance all night long to his night, like it's 1999 all over again, then
dude,
so
it'll look like the end of The Wiz. It would. Can't you feel a brand new day? People be dancing in the streets, half naked.
He's on down that road, all right. They be easy down 95.
Jumping around.
That be easy down up 395.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, right? That's why it makes the situation so easily discardable, because a lot of the people who are probably guilty that they wouldn't mind tossing it off right now, like I said before, are no longer in the league, which are Jon Gruden, Jay Gruden,
right,
and Bruce Allen.
Right. Why not?
You know, I love the fact, oh my God, during that same episode on the Bob Costas show, you know, of course, they interviewed Keyshawn Johnson, my favorite person in recent weeks, who, of course, again, is interviewed and asked about his thoughts on Jon Gruden. And, you know, we've heard about him saying how much he didn't necessarily like Gruden in the past,
right? And
you know, a lot of his moves, especially as it pertains to the amount of African Americans that he's had on his staff, the amount of African American players that have constantly reduced, which is a known thing. Because, like, I've noticed the amount of amount of HBCU athletes that used to be at the Raiders organization that are no longer there. So yeah, we've seen that drop off ever since Gruden has come in as a head coach. And you know, he let it be known that, you know, those were things like that, and just small things that other places where he didn't necessarily like, but he attempted to start making a connection between Gruden and Bruce Allen. But we already know that he came out and praised Bruce Allen before. Remember, he tried to go, okay, Jon Gruden to God, what is Bruce Allen's brother who used to be governor of Virginia? I don't want to say it's Tim Allen, but yeah, you know, his brother was governor, and you know, of course, Bruce was there too. And then of course you got with the Governor Allen being a conservative, you know, and them sharing conservative views, probably with one another and with Gruden. That's probably their connection and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, of course they were also connected because they both were there in Tampa together. Matter of fact, I think Allen was the one that brought over Gruden to Tampa.
Yeah, they're close. They're very close.
Yeah, and Allen was also in Oakland when he was there too. Yeah. So, I mean, now you want to point this out, dude?
Yeah. We'll see, brother. We'll see. We're gonna give ourselves headaches thinking about this, but
exactly.
Anyway.